Let's talk about debt and estates. If someone dies and they have a whole heap of debt, does anyone have to pay that debt back? My name is Jess and I am an Australian wills and estate solicitor. If someone dies with a whole heap of debt, then what needs to happen is the executor or the administrator of the estate must sell the deceased's assets, realise bank accounts, and must first attempt to pay those debts. So, for example, if there was a house and there's a mortgage, the house may need to be sold to pay off the mortgage. And any other loans, credit cards, whatever. The assets need to be sold to pay off the debt. If we sell all of the deceased's assets and there's still outstanding debt, then does anyone need to pay that? The answer is no. The deceased person is the only person responsible for paying that debt. So it's a myth that children or beneficiaries need to repay the debt. That's wrong. If an estate has more debt than it does assets, the estate is considered insolvent and the debt dies with the deceased. The executor or administrator has to do everything possible to try to repay that debt, selling assets at the best possible value, making sure no assets are just given away to people. But ultimately, creditors cannot come after children or family members or beneficiaries if there's simply not enough money or assets in the estate. Now, there could be some small exceptions to this. For example, if someone else was a guarantor on a loan with the deceased person. But the general rule is the deceased person is the only person responsible for that debt, and creditors cannot come after family members or beneficiaries. The debt simply does not get paid. Another exception that I can think of would be when there's a mortgage over a house, but one of the beneficiaries wants to keep that house, or that house is gifted in the will to a certain person. Then that beneficiary may elect to take on that liability so they can keep the house. And I've certainly seen wills that say, John Smith gets my farm on the basis that he takes on X and Y loan over the property. So I hope that answers your question.